Nadir Merchant had the great pleasure of sitting down and talking with Nadir at DattoCon Kaseya DattoCon event 2025 in Miami. He's a general manager there. I have seen Nadir on stage before. He's great presence. I opened the conversation with he's really into clothing, not much more than just a fad, just a really focus on it. It kind of describes its origin. We talk about boxing, very much into boxing. He does it himself. He's a southpaw. And of course, celebrating being cancer free. But he came from IT Glue. And when IT Glue got acquired by Kaseya, he stayed on. And now there's new leadership there. It's a big directional change, a lot of great things happening. We talk about AI. We talk about the direction. Just a really great conversation with Nadir, and I was really happy that he was able to sit with me. Been wanting to talk to him for a while, but really good guy, and really great event at DattoCon this year. And I really love that they keep bringing me back and having great conversations. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Really excited to talk to you. So, tell me why you like clothes so much. I understand you're into.
Why do I like clothes so much?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to answer that question. Why do you like whatever it is that you like?
Why do I like whatever it is I like? But I mean, I've seen you on stage before.
Yeah.
You always look really good. And so, was this something as a youth you didn't have access to it? You admire those that did. Like, why? Tell me about that, just particular.
I transformed my look many years ago. As we transitioned from being a pretty small company to a fairly large company, I wanted to present a more polished and professional appearance, especially as I spent more time on stage and I started to become the face of IT Glue. I wanted to have people view me as somebody who was the right person to be running a business of that size.
Interesting.
Right? So I started to adopt a more professional persona, but I also still wanted to be branded. Before that, you could always find me in an IT Glue shirt, right? Because I wanted people to know that I was the IT Glue guy, both internally and externally. We got bought by Kaseya, and I needed all the Kaseya employees to know that I was the guy who ran IT Glue, so they would know to come to me if they had an IT Glue help. And I wanted all of our customers to know that I was the IT Glue guy. So I still wanted to be branded, so I started buying custom suits so that way I could make them IT Glue branded. So I bought a lot of purple suits. IT Glue's color purple, so I bought purple suits, and I had IT Glue lining on the inside, and I bought a network glue colored suit thing. So that started the whole process, and then it just got fun. So.
And before that, you weren't into suits as much. You were into.
I was a little bit when I was a kid. But it was also definitely something that was not accessible to me as a child.
I see.
But we used to go to mosque and stuff when I was a kid, and then mosque is a very formal place, so we'd have to wear suits. So I always owned one suit, and then I kind of got away from it as I got older because our society's so casual that I just kind of adopted the more casual attire for girls. But then kind of found it again.
Because too, not many wear ties anymore.
Yeah.
And those that do that, you stand out.
Yeah, I like the tie because I feel like if you're wearing a full suit, it finishes it. If you're wearing a full suit, it's open collar. To me, it just always looks like you kind of forgot to finish getting ready.
Interesting.
So if I'm not wearing a tie, then I'll usually wear separates. So I'll wear a different color top and bottom. But if I'm wearing a full suit, I kind of like the tie. I feel like it's proper.
Who's your favorite boxer?
Who's my favorite boxer? Vasily Lomachenko. You've done your homework.
Wait, Lomachenko. Is that the brothers?
No.
Who am I thinking of? The two brothers, it ends in Chenko. Who's
Klitschko.
Klitschko. I'm
Klitschko.
sorry,
Anything
of
with
course.
Klitschko.
Klitschko, yeah. And why Lomachenko?
Vasily Lomachenko, they call him the Matrix. So he's a southpaw like I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about him is his movement in the ring is phenomenal. It's like a work of art. His footwork is unbelievable. He creates angles and gets around people in ways that you can't even imagine. So it's absolutely lovely to watch.
Is this the gentleman whose trainer or father told him to like take ballet for a year or 2 years?
Yes.
Incredible. So he was not allowed to box.
That's correct.
And he had to take ballet for at least a year, right?
Yeah, I think it was several years. Yeah.
Amazing. And so he just
that was
learned
as a child.
As a child,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he just learned how to move.
That's right. Yeah, his father trains him, and his father's like he's put him through many different unique ways of training.
Yes.
One of them was dance. Another thing is they do a lot of puzzles and like mental work to help like sharpen the mind and make him react quickly.
Wow.
So they do a lot of really interesting things around that.
Yeah. How is the state of boxing now?
You know, it's in a really interesting place right now. Dana White has gotten involved in it in the last couple of years, and he's really trying to change the game and bring a lot of what the UFC's been able to do in MMA to boxing again, which I think is great.
Yes.
They just signed a deal with Paramount, so it's going to be on regular TV
no
again.
more pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's going to be much more accessible. I think it's great because pay-per-view's tough. That makes it really hard to have a big audience. So I think that's really great for it. I think Turki Al-Sheikh is doing a lot of the funding of fights these days, and he's doing it from a place of he loves boxing and he wants to put on the great fights, which for us as fans is awesome, right? You could argue about is it sustainable, is it really the right way to build out that as a sport for longevity, but it's great from a fan perspective. Like Canelo Alvarez just fought Terrence Crawford. That fight wouldn't have happened if Turki Al-Sheikh wasn't willing to put up $100 million out of his pocket to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And you box yourself.
Yeah, I assume that's why you're asking me these questions. Yeah.
Yeah, and do you wear headgear when you box?
Yeah. So I've done one fight. Last year I signed up to do a charity boxing match. That was in March of this year, and because it was an amateur fight, you wear headgear with that as well. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm very interested in boxing. I'm still training for boxing, and I'll continue to pursue it.
And are you a student of? I'll never forget. Sugar Ray Leonard was on Johnny Carson when I was a kid, and Johnny asked him, "Will your son be a boxer?" And Sugar Ray said, "I live in Beverly Hills now. My son was born in Beverly Hills. I was born in Detroit.
Yeah.
So I boxed my way out of Detroit. My son will not be a boxer.
Yeah.
There's just certain things you can't teach, and it kind of stuck with me."
Yeah, I mean, I think you could, right? If you started as a young age and you doing it, but it's tough. Like, do you want to pursue a sport that could leave you brain damaged when you have the financial means to not do it? Right? It's tough. There are people out there. I mean, you look at Jake Paul, what he's doing. He's not doing it for the money. I mean, he's doing it for the money. He doesn't need the money, right? Especially at this stage.
Yes.
But he's still pursuing. He loves it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he's got drive to go do it. So I do think that there are people from other means that can do it, but it's very different, right? I mean, you take somebody who grows up without a lot of means, grows up in the inner city, and they've experienced a lot more violence, and they're just a lot tougher person in general. Even if they don't have violence, they're just a tougher person because they've gone through suffering. It prepares them for the sport in a way that somebody who grew up in another neighborhood or another situation wouldn't go through. But then also there's just the drive to be willing to do it because of the need, right? Like at some point you're going to hit a wall, right? In boxing or anything you pursue, and then you have to be willing to push through it and take it to the next level. And if you're like, well, I can go home to my nice comfortable house and I don't have to worry about my bills,
right? Are
you really going to want to push 3-4 times through that barrier to get to the next level? And I think as a boxer's son, I guess somebody who's like a famous boxer who's made a lot of money, becomes tough.
Right. It still is the sweet science, though, Nadir, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when the southpaw goes against the opposite, and just the way. Yeah, I really, just from a layman's kind of, I really, really enjoy it.
You ever tried boxing?
I haven't. I was doing jiu-jitsu for a while.
Okay, jiu-jitsu is awesome.
The problem is that I rolled and I cracked a rib, and I haven't been back, because if I can't play golf or do some of the things, It's, you know, at an age, it's tough to get.
It's tough.
It's tough, yeah. Nadir, how long have you been cancer-free?
13-ish years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that?
I think it was 2011, so maybe it's 14 years now. I think 2011 was when I finished treatment.
And how did you learn of it?
I found a lump in my neck.
Wow.
There was a little tiny little bump in my neck, and I happened to be at the doctor anyways because I took my mom for an appointment. She had open heart surgery, so she couldn't drive for, I don't know, 8 weeks or whatever after the recovery. I had to take her for one of her checkups. So I was sitting there in the waiting room. It's kind of ridiculous. I was sitting there and I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on here?
Wow.
And I was like, I should get this checked out. I'm like, it's probably nothing, but if it's not nothing, it might be cancer. That was literally what went through my head.
Oh my God.
I was like, there's only two options. It's nothing or cancer. So I was like, hey, I went up to the counter. I was like, hey, can the doctor see me after mom? This is my family doctor. We've been going to him for a million years. And yeah, so that's what started it.
Wow. And from that till when it was removed, was it a year?
Yeah, about a year. Yeah, it took about 4 months to get diagnosed fully because the Canadian healthcare system is very slow. Finally, we got the confirmed diagnosis, and then about a month after that, I started chemo. So 7 months of chemo. So the whole thing was right around a year.
So your message is find it, get it looked at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're here at DattoCon,
Yeah, we are at DattoCon.
Miami in October 25. And what are some of your goals this week?
You know, the biggest thing for me being at these events is to spend as much time with our partners as I can, learning about what's going on in their businesses, how they're operating, and most importantly, what can we do better to help them be more successful. I think it's a great industry that's got tremendous growth around it for the last decade, and I think it has a ton more runway. But we have to, as Kaseya and software vendors in general in this space, have to empower our partners to be successful and help them grow. And for me, I don't spend my time in an MSP. I don't know what the day in the life is like. So to get FaceTime and to learn about their business is the most important thing for us.
And you're general manager.
Yes.
What can Kaseya do to be a better partner to MSPs?
I mean, we can continue to innovate on their behalf and deliver them technology that can help them scale, that can help them operate at better margins. We can continue to drive down the cost of tools that they use, and we can be easier to do business with.
Right. And when MSPs are looking to partner with a Kaseya or with somebody else, what questions should they be asking? What should they be looking for?
I think that they need to understand the mission that the company's on to see if it aligns with where they want to go. There are a lot of smaller tactical things that you can look at in the short term, but ultimately, if you're looking for a long-term partner, you want to be able to make sure that you have the same goals in mind, that you're going to the right place. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And so your transition from IT glue, Nadir, to Kaseya, how's that been? Because you were focused on one product and now you've got this suite. I mean, how many products are there? There's got to be, I'm guessing.
I mean, across Kaseya, there's 42.
Wow. Wow. And as general manager, you look over all of them?
No, I look over a subset of all.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And how's the transition been from kind of going private like that to, when I say private, I mean separate and then coming on to Kaseya? Was it a big transition to be from a small company to a larger?
I mean, it's been an adventure for sure.
Yeah.
Remember, Kaseya has evolved in that time alongside my own experience with Kaseya, right? So when we were acquired, it was 2016. Kaseya had, IT Glue at that time had about 25 or so employees. Kaseya had maybe 300.
Wow.
Right, today Kaseya has 5,000.
Wow.
So it hasn't been one transition, it's a new transition every single year. Because every year we had hundreds of new employees and we become a totally different business, right? We're growing 30% a year. By this time next year, we're gonna have 6,000, 6,500 employees.
Amazing.
It's gonna be totally different. A year ago, we had a totally different leadership team than we have today.
Yes.
So the evolution's been constant. It hasn't been one transition. It's just been constant change. So the biggest thing for me is just getting used to change and adapting to the environment. And as long as I stay focused on what matters to our business, all these other changes kind of don't matter, right? For us, it's all about the customer. How do we help more businesses be more successful, right? That's everything, right? And how much value can we deliver to those partners who are using our products?
And yeah, there has been a big change in leadership. How's that been? I've noticed. I was in MSP. I got Kaseya back in 2007. I since sold the MSP, but I mean, I noticed. So I've seen the different changes in leadership. With this latest change, I definitely feel a culture shift happening.
Yeah, It has been a culture shift for sure. That's always going to happen again as leadership evolves and changes. It's been good. It's a good transition. I think that we are doubling down on a lot of the things that we were already inching our way towards. We're now sprinting our way towards. We've been investing for the last 3 years. We've been investing in two big areas that have really accelerated under Ranya's leadership. One is AI. We've done a lot with AI in the last 3 years, and she's been like 10x what we're doing. So there's a lot going on there. And then also on the ease of doing business, right? We've changed our commercial model dramatically over the last 3 years. Every one of these big events, we announce new commercial changes that make us easier to do business with. And Ranya's continued to double down on that effort and push us harder to be even easier to do business with.
Nadir, how is AI changing, helping Kaseya and ultimately the MSPs?
AI is a really interesting topic because I think of it as being analogous to the internet of the early 1990s. In the early 1990s, we had the internet, and it was giving us things that were unbelievable and revolutionary, but it hadn't revolutionized the world yet, right? Like we had email. You could communicate with somebody in a totally different country in seconds. That was really cool, right? We had websites, but we didn't have Web 2.0. We didn't have smartphones at our fingertips. We didn't have high-speed internet being ubiquitous all across the world, right? So you could see the potential for it at that time, and people were doing really unique things with it, but it wasn't quite there yet. I think AI is kind of in the similar vein. AI gives us capabilities that are like, wow, like ChatGPT can do what? You know, it's shocking, but it's not revolutionizing our lives on a day-to-day basis yet. I think it'll get there. I think it'll take longer than people expect, but not nearly as long as the internet took or other technologies adoption, right? Technology adoption, if you look at the curve of how long it takes for technology to be adopted, it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter because we're getting better at it as a world. So I do think that it is going to totally revolutionize the way that IT is delivered. I think that a huge amount of manual effort is going to become automated, and that's going to allow those individuals to spend their time on bigger and more important tasks. Very similarly to the way that like DevOps tooling revolutionized the systems administrators, right? System administrators basically don't exist anymore. They've all been replaced by DevOps engineers, but those people are still employed. They're just doing different jobs now. So a system administrator, instead of managing 10 servers manually, now they manage a fleet of 1,000 servers using automation. Right? I think we'll see the same type of thing here, where a technician, instead of going and doing manual tasks, will operate systems that do those manual tasks, and instead of managing 150 endpoints, they will be able to support 2,000 endpoints.
Wow. You know, I remember when I was, some of the MSPs that were kind of starting up in the late 2000s, and we were using the term born in the cloud, right? They never had servers on site, anything on premise. And now these companies coming up are being born in AI.
That's right. Yeah.
And can you imagine when you started, you know, when IT grew back in 2016 to 25 employees, if AI was around, imagine the trajectory.
It'd be completely different.
It'd be completely different, right? Yeah. We're a very interesting time right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting.
Is that why you like technology? Because it keeps changing?
It's constantly evolving. It's a constant challenge. And fundamentally, I just think that I enjoy leveraging technology to help businesses be successful. Right.
And so why should MSPs come to DattoCon?
It's a great opportunity to learn about the business. It's a step away from the day-to-day and think about the big picture. How can we improve the business? What do we need to do to get to the next level? What's Kaseya doing to help me? And then also, what are my peers doing? What is everybody else in the world doing? Because when you're inside the business on a day-to-day basis, it's so easy to get distracted by what's going on, and it becomes hard to step back and think about, okay, where do I need to go? And if you just do the incremental thing that's sitting in front of you, you might stray from the path that you need to be on to truly get to the next level or get to where you want to go. You know, for us, it's not that different from what we do internally. Like, we take our teams offsite every few months, and we say, okay, let's sit down and let's, you know, turn off the notifications, you know, get away from Teams and email, and let's think about what are the big things that we should be doing and focusing on. I think this is the same type of opportunity for our partners.
So your message to MSPs this week is, Nadir?
Get excited about AI, spend time learning the tools that are out there, and don't lose sight of your customers. Because at the end of the day, every business is focused on customers. So think about how you can better serve your customers, how you can enable them with AI and make sure that they're successful. Every business wins or lose on their ability to help their customers.
Yeah, they certainly do. I thank you so much for your time today. Anybody want to get in touch with you? LinkedIn is probably the best way?
LinkedIn is great. Yeah.
We'll make sure to put it up in the show notes. Nadir, I thank you so
Wonderful.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.